Welcome back. In the last session, you learned about the kite base, or also called the base fold 1. And then in class, you made various models following that form of the base fold 1. In this session, we're going to learn the fish base, or the base fold 2. The fish base is kind of an offshoot from the base fold 1, the kite base, because it kind of incorporates that piece to it. Just to show you a few models in class that use the fish base. There's a little origami whale like this, and it uses the fish base. There's a complicated origami seahorse that looks like this, and that uses the fish base. Another complicated seahorse that uses the fish base with lots of fun pleat folding. Origami shark that uses the fish base. And this blowfish, it's simple, but it uses kind of a modified fish base. So with all that in mind, to make the fish base, there's a couple different ways that it is sometimes notated. So I'm going to show you each way. All right. First, you need to start with the kite base. So you're going to take that outside edge and fold it along the center, making sure to leave yourself just a little gap there. Okay. And then fold the top edge here down to the center to complete the kite base or the base fold 1, whichever one you want to refer to it. Okay, now that you've got that finished, there's a couple different ways to make the fish base. I like to show kids this way first because it's kind of the same as your kite base. If you open this flap here and you do the kite base on the opposite side, you create two intersecting lines. Okay, you can see how this line and this line intersect right there. If you reverse these two folds and bring them both towards the center, that middle diamond shape should stand up. Then you simply take your fingers and kind of pinch to create a fold from that point down to where those other lines intersected. And that will give you the little flap in the center. Okay, I'm going to do that on the top side here. Fold kite base down to the center. Open it. Pull these two edges back into the center. Recrease them up to that point. And then take my fingers and gently crease along that center line. And fold it down. Okay, and then depending on which way you want those flaps to flap, following the directions, you just flap them down. And there's our fish base or base fold 2. Okay, a second way to do it is to take your kite base here and mountain fold it. So I'm actually going to flip it over and valley fold this corner to that corner. And in most directions, they indicate it as a mountain fold because they want this side facing up. Then you have to do a new fold that we haven't looked at yet, which is called a squash fold. You kind of open this up here, and you're going to take this edge and then pull it into the center, just like the kite base. And then crease that so it's right along the center. And then do the same thing to the top. Open it up, crease this edge into the center. Like that. Now, if you kind of open that back up, it'll have those two little fins standing there. And a lot of the directions that start with this model end up, or show you that way, end up starting with the directions looking like this. And from here, you move to the next step, rather than starting with the fish base like this. Okay. The last way that it is often shown is taking the kite base and taking this outside edge here and folding it up to the center to make like an overlapping kite base on top of the previous one. And it does the same thing on the other side. So that it looks something like this. Then it says open the pocket and pull the flap out, or something like that, something along those lines. And what they mean is to take this sheet of paper that's inside here and pull it up like that and reverse it so that it's standing up. Then it's, the same as the first version I showed you, where you just kind of realign those edges and put that crease down the center like that. Okay, and then you do the same thing on the other side as well. You fold that flap back out and pull it up and crease it. And depending on the directions, it might tell you to do something different with that crease when you get to it, but it's either way, it's the same kind of thing. Then you'll have these extra little folds here from refolding it. And sometimes they'd show you that way because they want you to reuse that fold and fold things into the center like that, or something else. So depending on which way the directions show you, you might want to just follow the directions. And that's why I showed you those 3 different ways to make the fish base, or the base fold too.